Let's talk about Glock Mag Extensions really quick. I'm gonna try and make this quick. So I've used a lot of different mag extensions over a long period of time. I actually still have a number 6 follower magazine in the original packaging. I have multiple of these. I bought a huge amount of them previously. So I've been in the game for quite a while. These are the newer ones with the orange follower, has an extension in the front right here. So the biggest thing when it comes to Glock magazine extensions is that you really want an extension that's following the inner dimension of your follower. Your space here is where your bullets are going, and the follower goes back and forth as you feed rounds into it. As soon as you go beyond this space right here to this where it's green here, you run into a situation where you've allowed this ledge to now catch a spring coil or catch the follower as all of this ammunition is being loaded into it. And this is terminal. As soon as you have something like this, you no longer can actually use the magazine. It'll get caught, it won't feed, we call them salt shakers. It turns it into a salt shaker. So like I was saying, it turns them into a rattle, or it turns them into a salt shaker, whatever. The bullets just rattle around in here. It gets caught in this ledge. We found multiple companies that happens with. The problem is finding out which company is making them with the dimensionally correct extension down here and the dimensionally incorrect extension. Well, you can buy a whole bunch of extensions and figure it out, or you can watch this video and I'll tell you which ones to buy that don't do that. So the one right off the bat that we know has this problem is the TTI. In the Glock magazine, the TTI is a problem. We stopped buying them, we stopped selling them. We don't dislike TTI products. They make some products that are amazing, but in this situation with the Glock extension, we've ran into a lot of problems with them. So we ended up having to modify the inside of the magazine in here and kind of shaving them around so that there's this angular step right here to stop that from grabbing. Where other companies, it's not that problem. For example, this is an Arredondo. These have been around a long time. They're 2-piece. This slips over the body and then it locks in place. So you have this little clip that you can pop it loose and take it apart. I've had these forever. I used them in limited division when I first started out in 2006 in USPSA, and then I swapped them over to my 9mm, and I'm using them in carry optic now. These are kind of backups for me now. They're getting old and they've hit the ground quite a few times. They're still 100% functional. This is a fairly new one on the market. This is the Shield Arms +5. I can get 22 rounds in this. I can also get 22 rounds in the Arredondo. 23 is a little tough. 22 is reloadable, okay? So these do work. This one is a Henning group. This one is their law enforcement version, and it's got these clips on the end. It helps you grab it with either your fingers or with some other object and rip the mag out if you have to. And that's really kind of why they were designed this way, was for law enforcement use. These hold 21 rounds reloadable. They're not as long as some of these other ones. These are actually carry optic USPSA legal, and you can see that this one's shorter, right? So I still use these in competition because there's a lot of times the difference between 20 and 21 just doesn't affect the stage planning. But these will hold 23 rounds, 22 rounds reloadable. It's just too tight with 23 rounds. But these will actually go on to a 30 rounder, just like this, and you can get 27 rounds in there. If you change this, you have to change the spring, which you do on most of these, okay? This one you don't. This one you do, this one you do. So if you go beyond what the spring coils are capable of actually handling, then you have to change the spring in there. This one comes with one. The Henning group does. You don't need this spring if you use it on the 30 rounder, and you will get, I want to say 36, maybe 37 out of this. 36 for sure. And since I use these in pistol caliber carbine division, they're almost perfect for that. I mean, that's the biggest stage you're going to get, 32 rounds. You add this to the end of it. Yeah, you've got enough for a couple of extra shots without having to carry the big gigantic monster like this. This is the Taccom split device. You're taking a 17 rounder and a 31 rounder, and you're splicing together. You're flipping the springs so that the spring cut is down here. So I have the 31 rounds, the coil spring up here, and then the 17 coil spring down here. That takes that splice from here into the bottom magazine. And then this just slips over the bottom. And this will hold 50, and it's fairly reliable. The problem is that you have to have some flexibility in it so that everything can kind of move around properly. They are an interesting fix to the 50 round philosophy. I'm not really a big fan of 50 rounds in PCC. I really prefer 40 rounds. 40 rounds, this is a Taylor Freelance. So I have 31 rounds here. This is a +9/+10. Now I have 40 rounds at the start. If I go through 40 rounds, I'm gonna reload. I have screwed up severely, and the reload time doesn't matter anymore. Unless I'm running some sort of outlaw match, which is 60 rounds, and then whatever, I'll just reload somewhere anyway. So the biggest problem with stuff like this is that you're putting a lot of stress on these plastic feed lips that hold the base plates on here. If you're just putting a base plate on here, there's no leverage against those feed lips. As soon as you put this extension on there, you've now created a lever that can twist against that plastic in there. When you get to the +20 extensions you can put on these, I see them break off all the time. People smash them in the bottom and it snaps these lips off and breaks them. So I prefer the +10s, or if you're gonna go more than 40 rounds, I prefer the splice with the double mag. They're just stronger. It makes things easier to deal with. But as a whole, the company that I recommend the most when it comes to extensions like this is the Henning Group. Absolutely, without a doubt, 100%. We have no problems with these. These run on all the Glock mags. We don't have them stripping mag lips off. They're easy to put on and off. This screw right here just unscrews. You push it out the back. The spring is in here, but there's enough space for you to kind of roll it out and then take the spring out. Very simple to assemble, very simple to disassemble and clean. You can use them on the 31 rounders. You can use them on the 17 rounders. They also make an extension for Glock 19s if you don't want to do the Glock 17 extension. They also make a law enforcement model. So I'm currently trying to convince Henning, are you listening, Henning, to make a +10 for PCC. The dude's really busy, okay? And quite frankly, I'm not sure that he'll ever get around to it. But as soon as he makes a +10 for one of these, I'm on board. I'll go straight to it from the Taylor Freelance. The Taylor Freelance is an amazing extension. These things work great. But I know for a fact that he tests his product. I've helped him test his product. And if it doesn't work, he redesigns it until it does work 100%. So full disclosure, I know Henning, so and I've tested his products and I've been to his shop, and it doesn't affect my opinion of which ones actually work the best when it comes to an extension. I'll take the Henning over all of the rest of them every day.